for us and continue to do. I thank you for the moisture. I ask that you be this county, state, and federal elections. May your will be done. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Let's play ball.
Okay, at this time, any person with business before the court not scheduled on the agenda may speak to the court. No formal action can be taken on these items. At this meeting, each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes. Anybody? Okay, we'll go on then. So court to discuss and consider action to be taken on the following. Old business, court to discuss and consider precinct project schedule and staffing. Anything?
If it rains as much as they say it's going to, we're going to get a bunch of roads again.
That is the truth.
It's coming.
Anybody else?
Where you hearing this? I just hear it. It's ain't.
Mhm.
Ain't some rain.
Yeah, I heard it was 2 to 3.
Let it
Well, from
Yeah.
I-20 that way.
Yeah.
We come this way, we get 3 inches.
But you also know that forecast, we may get a 10th.
I know.
Yeah, but anyway.
Anyway,
Okay, new business. Court to consider a resolution for the West Texas Children's Advocacy Group. Secretary, you want to read that?
Let me see. There it is.
I
I don't have a copy. I don't have a
I was
copy.
looking at the.
The judge must have the copy.
Oh,
He usually
boy.
has the originals.
Well, let's just take no action then, and we'll
Okay.
do that the next court meeting. How about that?
Okay.
That'll make it faster. Okay, court to discuss final report and rating received from S&P Global Ratings. Wow, I was pleased,
Yes.
Very
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 much
pleased.
pleased.
In February of 2018, February 9th, 2018, we went from a AA minus to an A plus with a negative outlook. We were reviewed just recently. The judge and I had to be on a conference call with S&P, and Vince Vial, our financial advisor, was on the call with us. And after the call, once we got our new report, we have gone from an A plus with a negative outlook to an A plus with a stable outlook. So we did not drop in our credit, thankfully. And I'm going to read. I know it looks like a lot that I'm going to read, but there is really,
It's important.
yes, it is important information. The rationale: S&P Global Ratings revised the outlook to stable from negative and affirmed its A plus long-term rating and underlying rating on Scurry County, Texas existing general obligation debt. The outlook revision reflects our opinion of the county's unaudited fiscal 2019 financial statements showing an operating surplus and a fiscal 2020 budget supported by additional revenue due to sizable growth in fiscal 2020 assessed values and residents electing not to roll back the property tax rate. Security: the bonds are payable for an ad valorem tax levied on all taxable property in the county within the limits prescribed by law. The maximum allowable rate in Texas is 80 cents per $100 of evaluation for all purposes, with the portion dedicated to debt services limited to 40 cents. This county's levy is below the maximum's allowable rate at $44.98, with 3.29 cents dedicated to debt service. In accordance with our criteria, or issue credit ratings linked to U.S. public finance obligors' creditworthiness, we do not differentiate between the county's limited tax debt and its general creditworthiness. We believe the county's ability to meet its debt service and to continue to operate successfully is strongly linked to its general creditworthiness, and there are no significant limitations on fungibility of sources. Credit overview. With a new management team in place since 2019, we expect to see a structural balance and a gradual restoration of reserves to the county's target of 6 months of expenditures. Residents have shown their support by not electing to roll back the tax rate for fiscal 2020, which will keep the tax rate the same as it was in fiscal 2019 and will generate additional revenue due to the growth of property tax base. Scurry County's credit quality has deteriorated in recent years as a result of deficit spending that has significantly reduced available reserves. We understand this is partially due to previous management's desire to keep the tax rate low by using reserves to make up budgetary shortfalls. The rating reflected on our opinion of the county's adequate economy with a market value per capita of $181,161 and projected per capita effective buying income at 85.7 of the national level. Adequate management with standard financial policies and practices under our financial management assessment methodology. Very weak budgetary performance with operating deficits in the general fund and at the total government fund level in fiscal 2018. Weak budgetary flexibility with low nominal available cash reserves, negative 362,000, that we expect will improve as percent of expenditures in the near term for its fiscal 2018 level of 3.1. Very strong liquidity with total government available cash 78.1% of total government expenditure and 12 times governmental debt service rate. In excess to external liquidity that we consider strong. Strong debt and contingent liability profile with debt service carrying charges at 6.5 of expenditures and a net debt that is 82.3% of the total government fund revenue, as well as low overall net debt that is less than 3% of the market value, and strong institutional framework score. The adequate economy. They consider Scurry County's economy to be adequate. They go into a little bit of our population and stuff like that, but then this is a concentration in mineral values has resulted in significant fluctuations in assessed value and local revenues. Between fiscal year 2015 and 2018, the county's assessed value declined 36%, coinciding with declining oil and gas prices. Assessed value has since increased 38% to reach $3.2 billion in fiscal 2020. Significant contractions in the county's top 10 oil and gas related taxpayers has resulted in concentration improving to 29% of the fiscal 2019 assessed value from 51% for fiscal 2014. Residential and commercial expansion has been relatively limited over the past few years. There are multiple wind farms expanding throughout Scurry County, which support the property tax base. In addition, the Texas Department of Criminal Justice operates a 1,000 inmate capacity Price Daniel unit, a state-owned prison on a site of 4 miles east of Snyder, employing about 350 people. Adequate management. We view the county's management as adequate with standard financial policies and procedures under our FMA methodology. Indicating the finance department maintains adequate policies in some but not all key areas. Revenue and expenditures assumptions based in part of the 3 to 5 years of historical trends and information. Very weak budgetary performance. 4 years of deficit spending in recent years has hindered the county's budgetary performances and significantly reduced its available reserves. This was largely due to previous management reluctant to raise the tax rate in adopting balanced budgets, which were deficit budgets reliant on the use of reserves. New management is focusing on the county's financial practices. For unaudited fiscal 2019, we estimate the county ended with a 5.8% operating surplus, partially due to additional revenue generated from an increase in the tax rate of $44.98 from 38 cents. In implementing cost control measures for fiscal 2020, a balanced budget was adopted and the county maintained the $44.98 tax rate as voters elected in January 2020 to not roll back the tax rate 10 cents, which would have decreased the projected county revenue by an estimate of $3.1 million. Officials anticipated ending the year with no worse than a break-even operations, with a likelihood of small surplus due to ongoing cost control. We believe the county has measures in place that could improve budgetary performance over the next 2 years, but we remain conservative in our assessment given the county's historical performance. Scurry County's budgetary flexibility is weak. In the near term, from its fiscal 2018 level of 3.1% of operating expenditures, in addition to the county reserves are low on a nominal basis of $360,000, which we view as vulnerably low and a negative credit factor, negatively affecting budgetary flexibility in our view. In management's use of cash accounting, which reduces clarity above the amount of the funds that are truly available. Scurry County has been below its informal target of maintaining reserves in excess of 6 months since fiscal 2013. Management believes it can restore reserves to its 6 months target in the next 4 to 5 years based on unaudited 2019 results. We estimate the county's reserves will increase about 8% of expenditures for fiscal 2020. The budget includes a $1 million emergency reserve for contingency, which would boost reserve levels to about 16% of the expenditure if funded, and assuming no use of the current available fund balance. Despite these projections, S&P remains conservative with its assessment of the county's budgetary flexibility until audited financial statements are available. Let's see. The stable outlook reflects S&P's global ratings opinion that its rating on Scurry County will likely not change during the 2-year outlook period. We expect liquidity will likely remain very strong and the economy will remain relatively stable, including the property tax base, supporting the county's major revenue stream. We also expect management will continue to follow through with gradually building its reserves back to its informal target of 6 months of expenditures. Due to the lack of additional bonding plans, we expect the debt profile will likely remain unchanged during the next few years. The downside scenario, we could lower the rating if management does not follow through on its plan to restore the reserves and return to structural balance if the unaudited results for the fiscal years 2019 and 2020 are materially different than our expectations. Upside scenario, we could raise the rating if available reserves can exhibit sustainable increases and if the economy can further diversify to mitigate the volatility of the oil and gas sector. So.
Thank you, Angela.
And Vince will be here in 2 weeks to discuss the potential of going ahead, since we've received our global rating, now with the refunding of the final part of the obligation series, which could save us now with our rating not dropping over 500,000 over the remainder of it, which is from now to 2034. It's not going to link, it won't lengthen it out any. And he's going to come in 2 weeks to present to y'all for that.
Okay, thank you. Yes, sir.
I just want to throw in right quick, I was with Angela for 10, 15 minutes this morning. And the best I can get out of this, everything I thought that maybe we might save, it's against the dang law. And dang ain't a bad word, so I ain't got my jaw out. It's against the law. We can't put it in there. And so I go back and just, I'm not trying to make the waters come up in a wave, but that's not a request over there. That's telling us what we better do, or bad days is coming. And it's hard to save a nickel, especially when the government tells you can't put that in there. It comes back to our own spending that we're doing in each department. And as bad as I hate to say it, it comes back to the amount of folks we've got. And if you go to any businessman, that's his problem all the time. He's got help. It's his help and what he spends. And I've certainly been here long enough. When I sit right there where that lady was sitting most of the time, I was against everything there was. and I could say right now that I am, but I'm not. But yet, there's got to be, to me, some toughening up and looking at some things that really make people mad. And that goes in my own apartment. And I'm not saying anybody's overspending or whatever thing, but they're not caring where you're overspending. It's gotta be cut somewhere, because we don't know that we're still gonna get this money that's supposedly come to us. We don't, it may be when we're all gray-headed everywhere around, so, we've got to, and I honestly think that we can't wait. I don't know, you can't meet three of you together, you got shot or hung if you do that. So I think we're gonna have some meetings that either closed, open, or what, but we're gonna have to have a plan on this deal, or we're gonna be, carrying a little stick.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. And so with that, I would like to say thank you to Angela, which is our CFO. Some people don't understand this, but any financials that we receive come directly from her office. And she has been preaching to us ever since she became auditor, how to make our financial status better. And the majority of the court didn't listen to that for a long time. But I am proud to say that this court has done that, and during budget time and during rollback time. And so I am proud to be a part of this court as a senior member of the court, to say that we've been through some rough times, and we don't always agree even now, but we agree enough to know that we're going to have to get back to a better place than where we are. And we can do that through various means. And so as long as we're headed that direction, the way we have been in the last couple of years, then our year, we certainly are in a better situation. And so I certainly appreciate the time that you spent trying to help us.
Thank you. One of the things I would like to add on that is to kind of go off of what Mr. Merritt was saying. I know it's not really been said out loud, but you could kind of get the feeling that because the rollback didn't pass, oh, okay, things are easy now. It's not easy now. We still have to continue pulling back the purse strings. You have to be good stewards of the taxpayers' dollars.
Absolutely.
That's what they're expecting. That's the only reason why it didn't pass, is because they're expecting us to show them.
Absolutely.
So, we can't just move on business as usual. We still need to continue to cut back and only spend what we need to spend, and don't be frivolous. If you wouldn't, if it was your own money funding it, which, all of us are taxpayers, so in a way it is, would you spend it? And that's, I believe, getting the department heads, elected officials, and everybody, they were very much involved in this process, which I thought was great. I wish that they were continued to still be in this process, because it's very eye-opening and educating to see what is actually being spent, what we have to spend. What the state mandates, and I know that people don't like that term, but
Yes.
unfortunately the state does mandate a lot of different things that we have to continue paying for.
Yes.
So, just to bear in mind, you just can't keep moving forward. We have to continue pulling those purse strings tighter, and putting more money back into our reserves, building up that, so in case something happens, like the town that was tragically destroyed with the tornadoes last night and the 9 people killed, hopefully we don't have to go through that. But if we did, where would we be?
Without.
Right.
FEMA will not be here
Exactly.
for a year.
Exactly. And they will only reimburse. And how do you reimburse when you have nothing
You
to
have nothing
spend in the
to
first place?
spend.
So
That's right. Very good. Okay. Court to consider approval of line item transfers and budget.
I didn't do the additional revenue
Okay.
Certified revenue.
first.
Oh, I'm sorry. I put a check on that.
This is the additional revenue from Mr. Merritt of $535.09. It was from his 2% COLA. A portion of it is 2.2% COLA that he had given back. And you'll see a budget amendment that goes to that. Actually, I keep this.
And to that, I'd like to say that's a first. I've seen, and since I've been here, other people that stated that they were gonna do certain things about things like this, that did not do it. And so I commend you for doing what you said you would do. Not everybody does. And
Well,
so,
thank you, but it wasn't for that.
I know.
Get out of boy.
And so I'll entertain a motion to accept them.
Make a motion with approve the certification of additional revenue.
Second it.
All right, we got a motion and a second. Those that are in favor, raise your hands. All right, those opposed, none, so it passes. Now we can go to
Okay.
line transfers.
I'm gonna do the budget amendment first, because it directly goes with that,
Okay.
certification.
Good.
The certification of the 53509 is a portion of the 2%, which was a total of 1,035.09. 500 was given to the Friends of the Library, and that will be presented on the regular session in March for donations and charitable contributions. The 53509 was put into the rural brush truck line to help with expenses for them for the.
All right.
And then the line item transfer is from precinct 2, going into his other equipment, getting a boxcar shed and a trailer, correct?
One that was stole.
Yes, stole by a thief. That's what it says. $5,600 for the boxcar shed, $62,4499 for the trailer, total of $11,844.99. Says because of a darn thief and need more room at barn because it's full.
That's a him, isn't it?
I'm
That's-
not, you can read it. I'm just saying darn.
You don't have to put your $20 in.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
You want to
Wrote
sign
it.
those, Terry?
Wrote it.
Since you're the
Yes.
administrator. Okay.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to accept the line transfers and budget amendment.
I'll make a motion to accept them as presented.
Second,
Second it.
thank you. Got a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your hand, please. Okay, it's unanimous. Okay. Court to consider approval of accounts payable.
Okay, accounts payable is $1,265,419.45.
Okay. Motion.
I'm tired. I guess I'm not
That's a
tired.
motion.
I make the motion, we pay the bills.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wanna bring it up.
Okay, anybody want to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
My God. Okay,
You,
raise your hand if you're, I'll second it.
you'll second that one?
Yes, I
Okay.
will.
Let me have a second. I will be here a while.
I've never seen anybody want to stay that bad.
No, the newspaper wasn't here.
Oh.
Hurry up.
Well, they're
Sign that
changing
deal.
too. They're
To the 2 days a week.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is.
I
They
thought
only
it
got
started
Wednesdays and
March
They would
11th.
still come to
But still, though, you would think that they would
attend the
come
meeting.
for.
But it didn't start till March 11th. does it?
Right, it starts next week, but
All
I
right.
mean,
Well,
even at that, you
They
know,
would
election
still-
judges
Yeah.
court, we need,
Thank you,
Yes.
Melanie.
so, I don't know.
we do have
Maybe they're just watching
inspectors
it
at
on
all the
YouTube.
polling places from the state.
I don't understand.
Hey, Ronnie,
I
you
hope.
said you said that, and that preacher told me he don't think they want that out
What,
there, the voting deal.
at Union?
Yeah,
Yeah, we don't use Union anymore,
okay.
or done.
Or Northeast Community Center.
Yeah, no, we don't use it.
Well, why
Susan,
did I go out there and put that deal on the door?
because to tell the people that it's not there anymore to come here.
Okay.
But
So they don't know.
folks out in Nunn didn't read that, or they didn't see it. I don't know.
Yeah, he posted it.
Well, I-
They called me this morning, said, is Nunn not open? I'm thinking, are you not
No,
at your
no,
pickup
no,
where you can
no,
see?
you're-
No, I know. I know
Yeah.
that one too.
Yeah. Yeah, they posted it, so.
I
I don't know.
think so.